Alright guys, today I'm going to be talking about mixing subwoofers, and I've got Bear and Angel there. And I get this question a lot. People say, well, hey, I've got this really nice subwoofer, can I mix it with this really nice subwoofer? Or, can I mix this basic subwoofer with a really good subwoofer? And, I've always known that's not a great idea. When I first started, the very first time I heard a dual subwoofer setup, it was with an Acoustimass, which isn't really a subwoofer. And then I had either a 10 or a 12-inch subwoofer that came from a home theater in a box. So not the best stuff to work with. It still didn't sound great, of course. It never was going to sound great. But certainly had I run two of those 10-inch subwoofers together, it would have sounded better than it did trying to mix and match. And what you'll notice here is I've got the PB16 Ultra, and then I've got the VTF15. Now, the reason I have these out like this, I had the 16 Ultra here, and then I had the PB2000s over there, and I had one, and I tried running it with two. I actually tried running all four. I tried running this. I ran that back behind me along with a PB2000 back there. I tried all kinds of different configurations, and it was driving me mad. I wanted to throw stuff because I could not get it to mix right. I could not get it to blend. And, it's essentially because I was trying to run three different size subwoofers and, three, fairly different subwoofers. They're all ported, but they're just, I don't know, they're set up a little differently. So, when I tried running this with the PB2000s, you saw that on the video I did where I was, playing with a parametric EQ on the PB16 Ultra, and I had this dip right around 60 hertz, and it's a dip I'm not used to having in this room. Usually that spot's just fine, and so I tried all kinds of different things. I tried adjusting the parametric EQ on that to kind of take out some response, which helped on the graph, but as I stood up and walked around, there were more peaks in that area, so it wasn't a great solution. The problem was I was trying to run two different size drivers. So trying to run a 16-inch driver with a 12-inch driver, no go. So I decided to take the PB2000s out of the equation, put the 15-inch VTF15 over there, and rerun room correction and all that, because you got to do that every time you make a change. And, the response still isn't perfect. It's still not exactly what I want. But it came out better using a similar size driver. There's only an inch difference instead of 4-inch difference. So it made a difference. So the moral of the story here is, number one, you always got to go dual subwoofers. I'm adamant about that. Even if you've got to stack them because of space or something, it still helps. I actually tried this. I had a guy email me, and he wanted to know if he should go with two or one, kind of what the situation was. And he's like, well, what about stacked? I could stack them in the corner behind my TV. I said, all right. So I stacked the PB2000s over there and tried running one, tried running two, and it did sound better with both. Sorry, I'm kind of running out of steam here. The standing wave was reduced a lot with both of them turned on. With just one turned on, I have the standing wave problem, and that's just annoying. So running both, even if they're stacked, is still a great way to go. But again, keep them matched. Don't try and run a good sub with a cheaper sub. I get these questions a lot. Can I run this excellent sub with this other excellent sub? No. Sell one, buy two of the one you want, or buy another one of the one you have. Don't mix. In some cases, you may be able to get away with it, and it's not a big deal. In some cases, it may be terrible. So the closer they are, because you don't just have driver size, you have amplifier power, you have, all of the subs, any sub I recommend will have a DSP. And so how they shape that DSP curve will have an impact too. I'm pretty sure the curve on this sub and the curve on this sub are two different curves. So all of that plays into a factor. Now, is the unsophisticated ear going to be able to pick that up? Maybe not. With the previous subs, you know, running the 16 with the PB 2000, the 12-inch and the 16-inch, I think some people might be able to notice. But again, this is your own room. This is your system. You're going to notice. Okay, and I noticed. I noticed that dip, and it was just incorrect. And so when I put this over here and reran room correction, everything came out a little better. It's still not ideal. It's still not perfect. Okay, but it came out better because there's only an inch difference between the two subs. And, you know, they're similar. They're both, you know, variable port configurations, stuff like that. So, but really, I know that once I get the second PB16 Ultra, I'm going to really truly hear what that thing can do, you know, as a subwoofer itself. You'll notice I won't do reviews or comparisons with subwoofers unless I've heard them in a dual configuration, because I cannot truly hear what's going on. So when I get the second PB16 Ultra, I'll be doing a full review on the PB16 Ultra. So until then, I mean, I'll be talking about the different features. I'll be going over what it can do. I mean, that's a really feature-rich subwoofer right there. But I'm not going to do the full final thoughts on it and the full overview until I can truly hear just the PB16 Ultra. I could run it just by itself, but then I've got a standing wave. I'm missing parts of the response. My opinion is not going to be great. And that doesn't matter how wonderful the subwoofer is. It's like, it could be the best subwoofer in the world, which this is arguably on that list, okay? By itself, you're missing something, okay? So when I get that, and I get its matching twin, I'm going to truly hear what it can do, and I'll be able to go into a full opinion on what it's about. I can tell you that the impact that you get from this subwoofer is amazing. I can tell you that the bass is a lot stronger with the amplifier power. It's just, when it hits you, it really hits you hard. I was watching a movie, and you watch for my next video. When the bass hits you using that thing, it hits you hard. Like when it calls for it. You know, just regular soft listening stuff, it's not going to hit you hard. But in those impacts, man, I mean, you could feel it throughout your entire body. It's just a different animal. So wattage, RMS wattage, and all that, it's all a good thing, I'll tell you that. But again, so I just want to explain to some of my viewers why I haven't done the full review on this. Again, I'll be doing a few more feature type things on that, but I'm not going to do the full review until I have both. Because that subwoofer is impacting that sound, and that subwoofer is impacting that sound. You're not really hearing what either one can do. You're kind of getting a mismatch. Now, it's not terrible, again, but it's not, I just can't listen to that alone without the other. So anyway, but as far as mixing subwoofers goes, okay, this situation here, I would never purposely do this. Okay, not because I don't like this or I don't like this. It's because they're just not the same. Okay, I would never do this purposely, and neither should you guys. Now, if you know you got a deal on one, someone sold you one for, you know, a great price or something, and they're real close inside, you can try it. You know, and if you're cool with it, you can live with it. You know, no problem. But if you're setting out and you're going out and you're buying new equipment, get them matched. And so I've had people ask me about, you know, ported and sealed. You know, can we get the best of both worlds by running a ported sub and a sealed sub? Can you get the benefits of a sealed sub and the benefits of a ported sub? I've had a few viewers that have done this, and it's, you know, again, it's probably still better than a single subwoofer. Okay, I'll grant that, but it is still not ideal. And I know that just from going from the 12 to the 16 and trying to mix those. Anytime you get any sort of variation in the bass, it's just going to kind of muddy things up. So anyway, guys, that's the video I want to do on this. That kind of explains why I have these subs set up the way I do. Once I get the second PB16 Ultra, it's going to be game on as far as my my review of this thing. It's definitely an awesome subwoofer. I'm definitely excited about it. So look forward for those videos in the future. But I just really want to touch on this. It's questions I get all the time about mixing subs, and my advice, particularly based on this recent experience: you can have one of the best subs in the world and mix it with another sub, no matter how good it is, it's still not ideal. So if at all possible, keep them matched. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and please subscribe.